Hi students, today we discuss about the osmoregulation. We completed formation of urine in the nephron of the kidneys in previous class. Today we discuss about osmoregulation. What is osmoregulation? The process of maintaining the quantity of water and dissolved solutes in balance is called osmoregulation. So, the process of maintaining the quantity of water and dissolved solutes in balance is called osmoregulation. So, the osmoregulation is achieved by excretion through organs such as kidneys and skin. So, the osmoregulation is achieved by the excretion through organs such as kidneys and skin. Kidneys and skin maintain the quantity of water and dissolved solutes in balance in our body. So, kidneys and skin maintain osmoregulation. The kidneys and skin excrete excess of water, salts, nitrogenous waste, etc. So, the kidneys and skin maintain osmoregulation. Next, the regulation of the amount of water and salts in urine generally takes place with the help of hormones such as ADH or vasopressin, aldosterone, and angiotensin. So, the regulation of amount or quantity of water and salts in urine generally takes place with the help of hormones such as ADH or vasopressin, aldosterone, and angiotensin 2. Angiotensin 2. So the ADH means antidiuretic hormone. This is also called vasopressin. The IDH or vasopressin, aldosterone, and angiotensin 2 are hormones. Here, the ADH or vasopressin produced from hypothalamus of the brain. Hypothalamus of the brain. The ADH or vasopressin stimulate the DCT and collecting duct of the nephron. The stimulated DCT and collecting duct reabsorb the water from primary urine of the nephron. Next, aldosterone is also a hormone. It is produced from adrenal glands. Adrenal glands. Aldosterone also stimulates the DCT and collecting duct of nephron. The stimulated DCT and collecting duct absorb water and sodium from primary urine into blood and promotes the secretion of potassium into the nephron. Next, angiotensin 2 stimulate the adrenal glands for the secretion of aldosterone. So, the ADH, aldosterone, angiotensin maintain the amount of water and salts in balance in the urine. So, this is osmoregulation. So, osmoregulation is achieved by excretion through organs such as kidneys and skin. So this is osmoregulation. So the kidneys and skin helps in excretion and also maintain osmoregulation. Without osmoregulation, the water and salts does not maintain balance in our body. So this is osmoregulation. Next, regulation of kidney functions. Regulation of kidney functions. So the functions of kidney are efficiently monitored and regulated by hormonal feedback mechanism. So the functions of the kidneys is efficiently monitored and regulated by hormonal feedback control mechanism. Hormonal feedback control mechanism. So the kidney functions are efficiently monitored and regulated by hormonal feedback control mechanism. Next, the hypothalamus. Hypothalamus juxtaglomerular apparatus and heart are involved in the regulation of kidney functions are in this mechanism. So the hypothalamus is the part of brain. The hypothalamus. Next, juxtaglomerular apparatus is formed in the kidney and the heart. So the hypothalamus, juxtaglomerular apparatus and the heart are involved in the hormonal feedback control mechanism or regulation of kidney functions. First we discuss about hypothalamus. So hypothalamus. Hypothalamus is a part of brain. Our brain divides into three main regions: forebrain, midbrain and hindbrain. Forebrain consists of olfactory lobes, forebrain consists of diencephalon, cerebrum and diencephalon. So brain divides into three regions: forebrain, midbrain and hindbrain. Here the forebrain consists of olfactory lobes, cerebrum and diencephalon. The diencephalon consists of hypothalamus. So hypothalamus is the part of diencephalon of forebrain. Next, a small gland is attached to ventral side of the hypothalamus called pituitary gland. Pituitary gland has anterior pituitary and posterior pituitary. Anterior and posterior pituitary. Generally, the pituitary gland has three lobes: anterior lobe, next middle lobe and posterior lobe. Here middle lobe fuse with anterior lobe. So human pituitary gland has two lobes. The anterior lobe is called anterior pituitary and posterior lobe is called posterior pituitary. So the pituitary gland attaches with ventral side of the hypothalamus. Now the hypothalamus regulates the kidney functions. excessive loss of fluid from the body. So, excessive loss of fluid from the body can activate the osmoreceptors. Osmoreceptors. So, the excessive loss of the body fluids from the body can activate the osmoreceptors. Here, osmoreceptors monitor the solute concentration in the blood. So, the osmoreceptors regulate the or monitor the solute concentration in the blood. When the excessive loss of body fluids from the body, the osmoreceptors in our body are activated. The activated osmoreceptors stimulate the hypothalamus. Stimulate the hypothalamus. Stimulate hypothalamus. The stimulated hypothalamus release ADH or vasopressin. Vasopressin. The ADH or vasopressin released into pituitary gland. Now the pituitary gland release this ADH into blood. So the when the body excessive loss of body fluids from body to outside, the osmoreceptors in our body are activated. The activated osmoreceptors stimulate the hypothalamus of the brain. Now the stimulated hypothalamus release ADH or vasopressin into blood via pituitary gland. So now the ADH, antidiuretic hormone. Now the ADH or vasopressin stimulate the DCT and collecting duct CD. So the ADH or vasopressin stimulate the distal convoluted tubule and collecting duct of nephron. Now the stimulated DCT reabsorb the water from primary urine. Of the DCT and collecting duct. So the ADH stimulate the DCT and CD. The stimulated DCT and CD reabsorb the water from primary urine. And prevents diuresis. Diuresis means loss of large amount of water through urine. Loss of large amount of urine through loss of large amount of water through urine is diuresis. So the ADH or vasopressin preventing the diuresis problem. It prevents the loss of water from body to outside through urine. Next, the ADH. So in this process, the body fluids are increased. So the volume of body fluids are increased. So here the ADH stimulates the DCT and CD. The stimulated DCT and CD reabsorb the water from primary urine into blood. Now the volume of body fluids are increased and preventing diuresis, prevent the loss of water through urine, and increase in the volume of the body fluids. When the body fluids are increased by the action of ADH and vasopressin, the switch of the osmoreceptors. When the body fluids are increased in our body through ADH, the osmoreceptors are switched off. Osmoreceptors are switched off and suppress the release of ADH. When the osmoreceptors are switched off, the ADH, the secretion or releasing of ADH is also stopped. So, stoppage of ADH, the reabsorption of water is stops from DCT and CD. So next, the ADH can also affect the kidney functions by its constrictor effect on blood vessels. So the ADH also affect the functions of kidney by its constrictor effects on the blood vessel. So the ADH constrict the blood vessels. Constrict the blood vessels. The constricted blood vessels. So the ADH constrict the blood vessels. In this process, lumen of the blood vessel is decreased. Lumen of the blood vessel is decreased. The constriction of blood vessels causes an increase in blood pressure. Increase in blood pressure. So the ADH constrict the blood vessel. In this process, size or lumen of the blood vessel is decreased and increase blood pressure. Increase in blood pressure can increase the glomerular blood flow and glomerular filtration rate. So ADH constrict the blood vessels and decrease the lumen of the blood vessel. Decrease in the lumen of blood vessel increases blood pressure. When the blood pressure is increased, the glomerular blood flow, glomerular blood flow and glomerular filtration rate is also increases. So this is another effect of ADH. First effect is the ADH stimulate the DCT and CD. The stimulated DCT and CD absorb the water, and increases body fluids, When the body fluids are increases, the osmoreceptors are switched off. Next, when the osmoreceptors are switched off, the ADH does not release from the hypothalamus. Without ADH, the DCT and CD does not reabsorb the water from the primary urine into blood. This is the first function of the ADH. Next, another function is the ADH also affect the kidney functions by its constrictor effect on blood vessels. The ADH constrict the blood vessel. In this process, lumen of the blood vessel is decreased. Now, blood pressure is increased. When the blood pressure is increased, the glomerular blood flow and glomerular filtration rate is increased. When the glomerular flow and glomerular filtration is increased, the water and nitrogenous waste are filtered into lumen of the Bowman's capsule. So this is next the defects in ADH receptors. Defects in ADH receptors or osmoreceptors are inability to secrete ADH. So the defects in the osmoreceptors or ADH receptors are without secretion of ADH. Leads to diabetes insipidus. So when the defects in the osmoreceptors, the hypothalamus does not stimulate. Without stimulation, hypothalamus does not secrete ADH. Without ADH, the DCT and CD does not reabsorb the water from primary urine into blood. So, without reabsorption, the water is losses from body to outside through urine. This problem is called diabetes insipidus. So, the loss of large amount of water through urine is called diabetes insipidus. The characteristics of diabetes insipidus are excessive thirst. So the person who suffers with diabetes insipidus takes large amount of water, takes large amount of water. So the characteristics of diabetes insipidus is excessive thirst and excretion of large quantities of dilute urine, large amount of dilute urine. So the person who suffers with diabetes insipidus lost large amount of water through urine or dilute urine. This it leads to dehydration. It leads to dehydration and fall BP. So the fall blood pressure in the diabetes insipidus, blood pressure is fall down. Body loses large amount of water through urine. So this is the regulation of kidneys by hypothalamus. So hypothalamus release ADH. ADH regulate the water balance in our body. Water balance in our body. Next, juxtaglomerular apparatus. Juxtaglomerular apparatus. What is juxtaglomerular apparatus? Juxtaglomerular apparatus. Here, the juxtaglomerular apparatus plays a significant role in the regulation of kidney functions. Kidney function. The juxtaglomerular apparatus or JGA, juxtaglomerular apparatus. The juxtaglomerular apparatus is the reason in each nephron where the afferent renal arteriole comes into contacts of DCT. So a branch of renal arteriole enter into Bowman's capsule called afferent renal arteriole. So this is afferent renal arteriole. So the glomerular apparatus is the region of in each nephron where the afferent renal arteriole comes into contacts with DCT. With the DCT. Here a group of a group of modified epithelial cells of the DCT. So a group of epithelial cells of DCT crowded in this region are called macula densa. So a group of epithelial cells in the DCT are crowded in this region are called macula densa. Next, the wall of the afferent renal arteriole contains JG cells, juxtaglomerular cells. The juxtaglomerular cells of afferent renal arteriole are modified smooth muscular cells. So the modified smooth muscular cells of wall of afferent renal arteriole are called JG cells. Here the juxtaglomerular cells together with macula densa of DCT to form juxtaglomerular apparatus. So the juxtaglomerular apparatus is formed by JG cells of afferent renal arteriole and macula densa of DCT. So this is juxtaglomerular apparatus. Next, a fall in glomerular blood flow or glomerular blood pressure or GFR can activate the JG cells to release an enzyme called renin. So, a fall in glomerular blood flow, and the blood flow is decreased through glomerular blood vessels. And or decrease the glomerular blood pressure and decrease the glomerular filtration rate. When the blood flow is decreased through glomerular blood vessels, the glomerular blood pressure and glomerular filtration rates are also decreased. In this situation, the juxtaglomerular cells of juxtaglomerular apparatus secretes a hormone called renin. So renin is a enzyme, not hormone. It is enzyme. So the JG cells of juxtaglomerular apparatus secretes or release a enzyme called renin. Now the renin act as catalyst and converts the angiotensinogen into angiotensin 1. So here renin act as a catalyst and converts the angiotensinogen into angiotensin 1. Here angiotensinogen released from liver. Now the angiotensin 1 converts into angiotensin 2. Angiotensin 1 converts into angiotensin 2. By angiotensinogen converting enzyme. So the angiotensin 1 converts into angiotensin 2 by the action of angiotensinogen converting enzyme. Here the ACE or angiotensinogen converting enzyme secreted by cells, many cells in our body, especially the angiotensinogen converting enzyme located in the blood capillaries of lungs and kidneys. So large amount of the blood capillaries of lungs and kidneys possess large amount of angiotensinogen converting enzyme. So a fall of glomerular blood flow, glomerular blood pressure and glomerular filtration rate can activate the Jg cells. The activated Jg cells release the enzyme called renin. The renin released into blood. Next, the renin act as catalyst for conversion of angiotensinogen into angiotensin 1. Here angiotensinogen produced from liver. Next, the angiotensin 1 converts the angiotensin 1 converts into angiotensin 2 by angiotensinogen converting enzyme. The ACE or angiotensinogen converting enzyme produced from many cells in our body. But the blood capillaries of lungs and kidneys possess large amount of angiotensinogen converting enzyme. The angiotensin 2 stimulates the adrenal glands. So the angiotensin 2 stimulates the adrenal glands. Adrenal glands are stimulated by angiotensin 2. So converting the angiotensin 1 converts into angiotensin 2. Now the angiotensin 2 stimulate the adrenal glands. Now the stimulated adrenal glands release a hormone called aldosterone. So adrenal glands release a hormone called aldosterone. Now the aldosterone stimulate the DCT and collecting duct of nephron. Aldosterone of the adrenal gland stimulate the DCT and collecting duct of nephron. Now, the stimulated DCT and collecting duct reabsorb the water and sodium from primary urine into blood. Primary urine into blood, and also promotes the secretion of potassium ions. Into primary urine of DCT and collecting duct. So, the stimulation of adrenal glands, the water and sodium ions reabsorbed from primary urine of DCT and collecting duct, and also secretes the potassium ions into primary urine of DCT and collecting duct. So the water and sodium comes out from primary urine into blood. Next, the potassium ions from blood secretes into primary urine. It leads to